Good evening. Welcome to another edition of Mi Gente On Air. We're here at the Alpha Media Studios at WSGW. I'm your host, Larry Rodarte, and I'm happy to have you here joining us tonight. Come on into the room. I've got a great show scheduled here. We're going to be talking about tacos and the second annual Taco Fest of Saginaw. And my guest tonight is Javier Fulgencio Jr., that is, of Wonder Burger. So he's going to tell us his story, and we're going to talk about tacos and the Taco Fest, like I said. And I hope that you will join us. And if you got a comment or a concern or a question, come on into the room, because this is Mi Gente On Air, my people on air, and this is your show too. So please join us here on Mi Gente On Air.
Welcome to Mi Gente On Air on 100.5 and 790 News Radio WSGW and online WSGW.com. Now, here is your host, Larry Rodarte.
Good evening. Welcome to another edition of Mi Gente On Air with a pulse on the Latino community of the Great Lakes Bay region. Well, it's August, and we have a great event coming up that is bringing together many people. It's the second annual Saginaw Taco Fest presented by La Unión Cívica Mexicana on Saturday, August 19th. And this year, we are moving it to the Saginaw Township Soccer Complex with over 10 food trucks scheduled to participate. If you like tacos, this is really the place to be. Everyone is invited to come out and celebrate Mexican cuisine with local trucks and trucks from the Flint and Southwest Detroit areas too. I'll give you a rundown on what truck vendors will be at the festival later on the show. Tonight, I have one of the entrepreneurs who is bringing his truck to the event. You may have seen his red truck called Wonder Burger and many of the events and locations around the area. His name is Javier Fulgencio Jr., and he is riding the wave of popularity with food trucks these last few years. Please help me welcome Javier Fulgencio Jr. to Mi Gente On Air. Javier.
Woo!
How you doing?
Good. Thank you for having us. We appreciate it.
Yeah, people. We have had a number of different food truck vendors as well as restaurant entrepreneurs, and I've heard of your truck a lot. I've seen you participate at Cinco de Mayo, and it's really crazy because you and I have not formally actually met until tonight. But I want my audience to hear your story, so please tell us who you are and what your family background is.
Yeah, for sure. So I am Javier Fulgencio Jr., right? So Saginaw, Michigan, a little bit in BV. I growing up heavily involved in the church, St. Joseph. I think you've been there.
Oh yeah, many times.
So involved there quite a bit, and then kind of just grew up in that Mexican way where it's nothing but family, nothing but food, lots of love, and just tons of people around at all time. I graduated from Arthur Hill. I'm married. I have two boys. One works with me all the time, and the other one is right outside of Detroit. So yeah, that's the background, and I mean, we can talk for 2 hours on just background, but
well, I want people to know also your grandparents, because he's a legend in the community. Mr. Jimmy Fulgencio was his grandfather, from the La Rondalla of St. Joe. So I'm sure there was a lot of music as well.
So music and food, that's my childhood. So not just my grandfather, my dad, he's got seven brothers, three sisters. Pretty much all of them can play instruments, draw, so really artsy type family. And then, like I said, with church, that's all I knew growing up. St. Joseph's was a big part of my life. And then even on the other side, my mom's family, again, lots of food, lots of music and dancing and all of the above. So,
okay. Tell me who your parents actually are.
So Javier and Esther.
Okay.
So my mom's Guzman, and obviously my dad, Fulgencio.
Yes.
So
Well, I know that so many out there in the audience and within the Latino community and beyond know of the Fulgencio family and the legacy of the music. His grandfather Jimmy Fulgencio, as well as his uncle George, started La Rondalla over at St. Joe's so many years ago, and has just been the soundtrack of mass at St. Joe's Catholic Church, as well as so many other events in the community. So
I could tell you, like, being anywhere in the area, there's times where they're like, "Hey, you're a Fulgencio, aren't you?" I'm like, "Yup." George or Jimmy or even Steve. Everybody knows my Uncle Steve.
Yeah.
So those are the three I get the most.
Yeah, yeah. So tell us the story of how Wonderburger came to be. I understand that it started out with you making tacos.
Yeah.
And then you switched to hamburgers. So I know so many in the audience have seen the red truck out there at different locations, and Wonderburger has been a huge success. Tell us about that.
Yeah, man. So we years, probably we're talking like 10, 12, 13 years, we started catering here and there. My best friend in the whole world since childhood, along with my son, um, we started catering friends and family, baby showers, uh, the wedding things, like the wedding showers. We did quite a bit of it, and in time, I always knew I wanted to do food. I did sales for Verizon for a long time, and the corporate grind was a lot. And I started getting into B2B sales, and I started learning a lot about business in general. And I always knew, though. I always knew that I wanted to do food. And probably the story that I always lean to is growing up. I would walk every day with my sister from school to my great grandmother's house, and in the summer, I'd get close to her house and I'd smell the beans and I'd smell the rice and I'd smell, you know, any of the foods that she would make. But no matter what, as soon as I smelled that, I'd run. And I can tell you there was at least 75% of the time she'd wait for me because she knew how important it was for me to roll those tortillas with her.
Oh, wow.
And even though every damn tortilla that I make is look like Texas or Colorado, Michigan, she always told me, good job. And that is something that has stayed with me since I was in the second, third grade.
Wow.
And so that's where my heart has always been. Then it came down to I knew I wanted to do food to make the jump. And basically what happened is I looked at, the Saginaw area, Bay City, Midland, and I seen what was out there.
Mm-hmm.
There are lots of taco trucks, lots of Mexican food. I looked at it and I thought the market is pretty saturated. There's guys that are big hitters in the area that make some fabulous food. Big Pete's.
Mm-hmm.
My friends over at Maria's, they're a pillar in the community too. TNT, Toil, he makes some great food. And, there's lots of other Mexican trucks in this immediate area that do really good stuff. And I wanted to single myself out. So one thing is that me and my wife and my family are really lucky that we get to travel a lot. And, during traveling, I got to see different ways of making burgers. And, I started really paying attention. And when it came down to it, I'm like, I'm going to do burgers. So
Nice.
Back at that point, I reached out to, again, my best friend, and he supported me on the journey until it was time for him to do other stuff. You know, he's got 2 babies, and that's when my son came aboard, and he's been a great help to me, and we've taken this thing to the next level. And yes, we've had a lot of luck, and the community has really, really embraced us and helped us a lot.
Yeah, that's for sure. And it's I was gonna say, hey, if you can roll a tortilla, you can come over and help me on my truck.
Congrats on that, man. That's awesome.
Because we're over here doing patitos fresh and rolling those tortillas. But Esther Guzman, I don't know who she is to you, maybe a relative, but she says, remember when you made Little Caesar Pizza Creations? So she's probably referring to those state tortillas.
No, man. I actually worked at my first job was Little Caesars, and we would make. I actually one time I made a pizza of Bob Marley's head. So yeah. Wow,
that's funny. Well, Dolores Vasquez Cameron, she says, man, I love to see the Wonder Burger truck pull up on Friday Night Live. The burgers are huge. So you got a fan club out there.
I appreciate you.
Well, when you talk about the grind, that you mentioned in your previous employment, how does that compare to, say, like the grind of doing a food truck? Because that's something I'm learning, obviously, just recent, and it's tough. It can be tough, especially at my age.
I gotcha.
So tell me a little bit about that.
So when I was working at Verizon, that's a very, very mentally challenging, draining job. They were good to me, and it afforded me a lot in life, man. But there's something about having freedom.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm finding now. I pick and choose when I want to do it. Now there's the physical side of it. So my truck is there's 5 foot of griddle, and we have a 70-pound fryer. We have warmers. So this past week, we've been 130 degrees.
Yeah.
For 7-8 hours, 9 hours a day. We work some days 14 hours. We wake up at 8 and we're not in bed until 11.
Yeah.
So and again, because of the support of the community, those days we're doing anywhere from 300 to 600-700 burgers a day, along with a few hundred pounds of fries. So that's like, you're talking about, like, your situation with Mr. Patito, which is, again, it's an awesome concept. I love it, man.
Oh, thank you.
Very different. But physically, I treat it like a sport. I work out. I make sure I'm in shape. That's the only way I can keep up with the other kids on my truck that work with me. So
yeah,
that's the only way, man.
Yeah, and then that's the thing is, you mentioned kids. I've got my nephew. He's 18. He helps me out, and his friend and his half sister, and they're all under 20.
Yeah,
and I don't think I could do it without them. With that youth factor, I call it, because it's tough. It can be really tough, and your body can sometimes get in that mode where, you know what, I may be feeling this way, but I got to serve the customer. So that comes first, and that's what I tell my employees as well. So it's really, I was really interested in how that grind, can be different, but I understand that totally, because when I do the magazine, it's all mental.
Yep.
When I do the food truck, it's all physical. So, I really understand it. What can you tell my audience out there? Something that you think that maybe they might be surprised to hear that they might not know.
That's a great question.
When it comes to food truck business,
I would probably say the level of competition besides you, and how good the actual food truck people get along. We're a community. I can tell you, like, even for me, I do go and eat at the different food trucks around the area. I try my best to not be seen in a chain restaurant, because that would be me going against everything we stand for. So if you see me at a chain restaurant, I promise you it's just for a birthday party or something like that. I was invited. It's not my idea. Everybody eat food trucks, please.
Yeah, it's definitely a community, and it's growing, like you've said. It's really surprising to me. Like since COVID happened, it's like it opened the doors. I think for food trucks and the popularity, not just locally here in Saginaw, but throughout the nation.
Yeah.
In California, there seemed to be a wave that started with vendors out there with the carts and those types of uh, culinary expertise that were like immigrants. And, sometimes it hasn't always been great for them over there. But I think that with the food truck business, there's so many now. And I'm not talking just Mexican food trucks, but I'm talking all different ones. But I think the Mexican food trucks have really led the way. And it just continually grows. And I was with somebody recently in Saginaw, and we were just driving through the Saginaw area, and he says, wow, Saginaw has a lot of food trucks on the corners. And I go, yeah, that's something that's really popped up, in the last 2 years, I would say. And so, how long have you been doing this now?
That's funny you say that, because it would have been November of 2020. I went and talked to my wife initially.
Mm-hmm.
I said, hey, I've always wanted to do food. Your thoughts? And she told me to go for it. And it was during COVID. Actually, I was sick and out of work for roughly about a month. And when I went back to work, I looked at my boss and I'm like, it's time. And she told me to go for it. So
Wow.
Again, lots of support. And then, what you're saying, with the Saginaw having lots of food trucks, it's an awesome thing. We're normalizing it. We're making it acceptable. And just like you're serving patitos, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's nobody that makes patitos fresher. There's nobody that makes them like your job is to perfect that patito. That's your one job. And our job is the same. We take burgers very serious. We try to give you the best product at all times. We don't use a cheap bun off of a shelf. Those are specially ordered from Detroit brioche. Wow. The meat is, when you guys get burgers from us, that meat was ground up usually within a few hours of us serving it. We don't serve old meat. Everything's brand new and fresh. So again, you get some unique ways to eat. And we are very proud that we brought the original smash burger to this area. It's huge in California. Major big deal in California. But now since we've done it, we've seen lots of people make their version and call it different types of sauces and stuff like that. And to us, that's cool. We don't look down on that. That's flattering to us.
Yeah.
So,
well, you're making me hungry here in the studio.
Yeah, man.
Well, I know you've participated in the last two Cinco de Mayo festivals at the Jolt Credit Union.
Yeah.
And I know like this year, I specifically targeted your truck at the end of the festival because I said, like when you make tacos, you don't usually want to eat them as well. And I said, I'm going to the Wonder Burger truck. It was sold out. Yeah. I couldn't get even the fries. And so, you've had some really success with that. So tell us, what have been some of your more successful events with Wonder Burger?
Yeah. So actually the very first year we took the truck and went out to Royal Oak, and we did a 4-day festival. And I learned, and at that time I thought, oh my God, we're on top of the world. And I get there and we are the smallest fish in the biggest ocean.
Yeah.
And it taught us a lot, but that was an insane, there's like 400,000 people there.
Wow.
That was one. Last year we did the Jelly Roll concert. Those are huge. And we've done lots of like festivals and stuff like that too that are great. But back to what you're saying, the Cinco de Mayo, like for me, that was a big deal, especially going into that first year. A lot of people know us, and I hate bringing the race thing into it and the Mexican, but it was a moment of pride because at the end of the day, I am a brown boy, and I am very proud of that. But that being accepted there, there was a different feeling to that than just selling burgers anywhere else. There's when your community and your family and everybody shows up and they tell you how proud they are. For me, that was one of the best moments that I've had in that truck, and that's I thank you guys for allowing us to come out. That was very cool, and being part of the parade and all that. I mean, that's just it's again, it's awesome.
Well, I'm going to tell my producer to show. Do you have the picture of him in this year's parade? I'm not sure. He's pointing a finger, and I can't remember if I took that picture or if creative.
I was a guy in the middle of the street. I have no idea who it was, but I seen it. Somebody sent it to me. There was a few of us, and that's like my favorite picture of me ever. I mean, how cool do I look?
Yeah, that's awesome there. And these are your employees behind you, or who's that?
To the right is my wife. My curly-headed son over here. He's somewhere back there, and then those are my nieces right to my left.
Wow, very cool. So it sounds like a family affair as well. That's nice.
Yeah.
Well, it's awesome that you were able to participate in the parade as well. Because I know that as a food truck, you're thinking about your truck, you're thinking about getting it ready for the big deluge of people that are about to descend on you, and it's you were in the parade. So
yeah, that was really quick on that. That was it 2 miles?
About that, yeah.
So we loaded the trailer, walked 2 miles in the heat, ran back, hopped on the trailer, and made probably 400 burgers that day.
Wow.
It was quite the day.
Yeah, I can imagine. But wasn't that parade awesome? I mean, the feel of it this year was something else.
You guys did such. I had was it Val, right? Val's the one who helps the vendors.
Val Blanco, yes.
Right. So actually, I remember she emailed me and asked me how everything went, and I was like, it was very good moment for the community, and I think you guys did a great job organizing and all of the above, man.
Thank you so much. Thank you for that comment. Sabrina Duran's on here. She says you have a wonderful menu. It's fantastic. Do you have any other goals or ideas to expand your business in the future?
Yeah, another great question. So going into the next season, you will see more, bigger, and we are going to keep the menu small, but you will probably see us introducing chicken tenders in other type quick fryer type things. You will see you will see some changes. Yes, you will see some changes, and you will probably see those as early as March.
Wow, very nice. Now I saw you at the Walleye Fest. We were participating. You were out there. That was huge. Tell us a little bit about that experience, because I think many in the listening audience outside of Mi Gente On Air, they may hear this program, and I'm sure that they're familiar with your food truck as well.
So Walleye. So yes, I'm a Saginaw boy, BV. That's where I grew up. That's always home to me. But I moved out to Freeland 13, 14 years ago, something like that, for my kids to have a different school. And for some years there, I didn't really have an idea of what Freeland was, but I can tell you the support and love that we get over there is insane. I am so appreciative of Freeland. And the Walleye has been insane. You're talking 700 burgers a day.
Wow.
And it was incredible. Every bit of my muscles body were hurting for days and days and days. That was actually the biggest weekend we've ever had.
Wow. Yeah, I was participating. Somebody backed out at the last minute, and I was able to get on board. And that was the very first Mr. Petito Man event that we've ever did with the food truck. So the insanity to me was crazy, but it was very successful. and so many didn't even know about a patito. So we were enlightening, and it was just an awesome event. So it was nice to see. I saw where you guys were. We were at a different location, but I thought, man, they're killing it because the line was just so huge for Wonder Burger. So we'll be right back. We're going to go into commercial, and we're going to talk more with Javier Fulgencio Jr. from Wonder Burger.
Mi Gente On Air on WSGW.
Wow, thank you everybody who's in the room. We've got a large number of audience. It must be all the Fulgencio family that I see. They get a lot of comments, and it's nice to see that you guys are participating. Rebecca Vargas says, we love Wonder Burger, hate living so far away, and can't enjoy it enough. So that's a nice comment. We also have Kyle Westfall, so proud of you guys. And Eric Wayne Culberson, he's got like exclamation point Saginaw. So, I mean, I think he's a big fan of Wonder Burgers as well. But there's a lot of comments in the room and questions. And I don't know if we're going to be able to get to everybody, but keep them coming. And, it's part of what Mi Gente On Air is all about, it because it's my people. My people is from the magazine, Mi Gente magazine, and we have this show that's going on 3 years now here, Mi Gente On Air on WSGW, and we're so glad to be a part of the WSGW family. And tonight, my guest, Javier Fulgencio Jr., he's talking about Wonder Burger, the genesis of Wonder Burger, and where they're going in the future, and they will be participating in 2 events this coming August here, August 19th, at the second annual Taco Fest, which is happening at the Saginaw Township Soccer Complex. And then there's another event happening on August 26th that they're participating with at the Greater Dimension Church. They're going to have All for the Kids, a fundraiser for kids participating. Elvis Macco is going to be heading that up with the Greater Dimension family. And they've got a couple different taco and Wonder Burger trucks out there. So it's going to be a nice event as well. And we're going to have Elvis Macco make a few comments on the show tonight a little later. And we're going to talk more, though, first with Javier Fulgencio. So thank you, everybody who's in the room. Amy Morales says, go Wonder Burger, bravo for all the food truck support. So we've also got David Fulgencio from Austin, Texas. He's watching. Keep up the great work. So you got a lot of family and friends, and I know that everybody's real happy to see the success of this young man in his taco truck. So taco truck, Wonder Burger, hamburger truck. But we're going to talk about that because he started out making tacos, and the big surprise for the Taco Fest is that he will be making tacos as well. So let's go back into the show and join us here. Don't go anywhere on Mi Gente On Air.
You're listening to Mi Gente On Air on WSGW.
Welcome back, everybody, to Mi Gente On Air. It's a pleasure to be here with you tonight. I am your host, Larry Rodarte, and we're talking about the second annual Taco Fest happening August the 19th at the Saginaw Township Soccer Complex. And my guest tonight is Javier Fulgencio Jr. He will be participating with his truck, Wonder Burger. And tell me, Javier, you're going to be participating this year, and what surprise do you have for the participants?
We're actually we're going to go back to our roots, and we are going to be bringing you some Texas-inspired smoked foods. I have tons of family from that Austin area, Round Rock, Buda, those kind of areas.
Mm-hmm.
And when I used to visit, or even of recent, my family always takes me to either like food trucks or, barbecue places and stuff like that. We're gonna put our own spin on tacos. I think you're going to be very surprised and happy with what we serve. It's not something where you're going to get a street taco where you're going to need 4 or 5 of them. You will see, the goal is right now, the goal is to have fresh tortillas that are made on site. And
wow.
we are going to put our best foot forward to honor our roots. And like you mentioned, my grandma Esther, who was the secretary of St. Joe's for 30 some years. My great grandma Trinidad, who had a huge part of my life and who taught me how to love food. And my grandma Pat, who still makes tortillas fresh on a daily.
Wow.
Huge parts of my life, and a huge part of food. And that's we're going to pay honor to them. And we're not going to have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of tacos, but we will have 100 of each, maybe. And then we'll go back to burgers after that or during that.
Yeah.
Just depends on what I got going there.
Yeah.
But I hope everybody can get out and check us out. We're excited. We're actually really, really excited.
Well, I love that you love cooking. It's your passion. And, I make a lot of tortillas, if you will, homemade, that are eventually the patitos. So I can really appreciate, when I'm rolling those, the masa, and I think of, all the women in my life too, that also made tortillas, as well as my grandfather, my grandpa Joe Diaz. He used to make the perfect round tortilla every time. And, I can't do that. I still make them a little rough around the edges, but they come out pretty round. But, for you to pay homage to your grandmothers that way, I mean, I know that you must think of them as well all the time when you're doing that. And it's just a beautiful cultural heritage. It's part of who we are as Mexicanos in the community. And to have somebody who makes tortillas in your life daily, you're a lucky guy. Very lucky. But, that it's something that, 40 years ago, that was the norm.
Yeah.
And today, that's not the norm. And everybody is kind of used to buying their own tortillas, and there's some great tortilla makers out there, and one of them is the Vargas tortillas. Somebody on here, let me see, they said that they hope you're using the Vargas tortillas for your tacos.
Is that Albert?
Nope. And there's so many comments that I can't find the original thing here.
Funny thing is, the Vargas, that's another great Saginaw family. I was actually at Fiesta this weekend with Albert and Rebecca and the family.
Yep, it's Rebecca Vargas.
Yep, I was with them this weekend at Fiesta Tigre.
Oh, wow. And wasn't that a great event?
Oh, man.
Yeah.
I love it. I've been to a few of them, and it was beautiful weather. The whole event's awesome. I do like it better at night.
Yeah.
It's a different feel.
Yeah.
But
a lot of people have said that. And to celebrate Miguel Cabrera and his career that night, man, I was bummed that I couldn't make it this year.
He got a hit.
Yeah.
He actually got a hit. He's slow as heck, but he got a hit.
Well, it's a great night for baseball and celebrating the Latino baseball players. So good job, Detroit Tigers, in celebrating that. We also, want to ask you, you have your son here in the Alpha Media Studios, and you mentioned that his name is Bob, and he's helping you in the food truck and all. Bob, come into the camera real quick so that the audience can see you. There's Bob. He helps his father. He's part of Wonder Burger. Tell me, why did you request for him to be here?
So growing up, we'll take it there really quick. Growing up, I always, like I told you, I always wanted to be in food. I always wanted to be in business. Like I knew that. I didn't grow up around a lot of business owners. I didn't grow up seeing. I've seen successful Mexican men.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't get to see people that were like me in business on a daily. So I bring him with me everywhere because I think it's important that he sees people like you and people like me coming together and helping. And that's a huge, huge, huge thing for me. And not just with him, with the community. That's a big deal for me because I didn't know where to go. I didn't know who to ask for help.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm proud that I can be that for not just him, but for all of the people that grew up like me and need somebody. And even if I can inspire just one person, that's enough. I love it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Community, man. It's all
Nicely
community.
said. Nicely said. And you know, as we had mentioned in the beginning of the show, you know, the food truck business, it's not something that has been there for the last 10 years or 15 years. We've had, you know, great restaurants through the years,
Mhm.
El Farolito, La Familia, you know, there, El Gallito, there were many, but there weren't food trucks. And so, you know, to when you say, you know, you didn't have anybody to turn to, I mean, you know, I can see that too. I was very fortunate. You know, one of the ones that has been leading the pack is Toyo Rosas with T&T Authentic Mexican Cuisine.
Good guy.
He's really helped me a lot in terms of, you know, with my food truck. And, you know, I can just text him and say, hey, I need you to do this. I need you to ask this, or, you know, I ask, you know, whatever. And so he's been a real asset to the food trucks. And I think he has been with a number of different ones. I know even Robbie D's and some of the ones that are out there today. So, you know, it's just you know, a wonderful thing when you mention about community, because that's truly what it is. It's community moving the pendulum forward, and you know, making sure that, you know, that our food is being successful and it's being loved, and it really has been. You know, I'm really surprised at how even, you know, in our area, the street taco is becoming more popular than, say, the hard shell tacos, which were the Tex-Mex tacos that we have always grown up with. You know, that's a shift and change that has
I love
happened,
it.
you know, and it's wonderful. And we have so many down in Southwest Detroit, you know, that is more of an immigrant community that is making those great street tacos. And, you know, now we're seeing them in our area as well. So that's a plus. What is your motivation each day to get out there on your truck? What motivates you, Javier?
There's a lot, but I think being that boy from Saginaw who's experienced a lot and seen a lot, it's proving myself and showing people that you can be successful outside of school. You can be successful in food, and you can be successful being different. And that's really, really important to me, man. So that's why I continue saying family, community, because without that, um, there would be no Wonder Burger.
Nicely said. Nicely said. And, you know, we've got someone on here. Anne Friend is her name. I think that's her real name. She says, I have driven from Petoskey 4 times and still wondering what they taste like, because they were either sold out or they canceled due to unforeseen circumstances, hoping to catch them soon. So that's a good thing that you're either sold out or you've, you know, for you, that's a good thing, not for the person that doesn't get it to taste. But that's kind of like how I was, you know, with the Cinco de Mayo. You know, it's such a good feeling to see that you guys are doing well. You know, like at that event Cinco de Mayo, everybody sold out. So, you know, what's your take on the success when you're at those types of events? What do you think it is that's drawing people to Wonder Burger?
Yep. So for the record, selling out is not the goal.
Right.
Okay. We pack a lot of food on that little trailer, to the point of we can make generally about, again, 600 to 700 burgers and go for hours and hours and hours. Every once in a while, everybody shows up at the same time.
Yeah.
At the same day, and it makes it difficult. The person at Petoskey, if you could hit my inbox, I got something for you. And then, but yeah, the success at them events, I think part of it is we do pick and choose what we want. We're lucky because we're the only true burger place around here, so we get to pick events. I think we are very different, and we don't just look at ourselves as a food truck. We look at ourselves as a business. And I have a good mentor who owns all the Kona Ice. I don't know if you're familiar with them.
Yes.
And he had told me, you guys are doing great. Just make sure you always put the customer first and you take care of your people. And my son is usually in front of the window. And that's something that I've instilled in, with him since he was young. And people love him. The other couple of people that we put on the window, great personalities, fun people. They know how to make customers' days, and that is very important to us. And I think that's why the following is where it's at, even besides the burger, because it's a decent burger. It's a good burger, but is it the best burger? No, it's not. I've had a lot better. But we really try to go out of our way to make people feel comfortable and part of our journey. And that's important again to us. So,
yeah, that's, to me, being on the food truck, it can be a lot of fun, dealing with people and talking. Yeah, it's a blast. I always have a good time when I'm out there. It's the grind is tough, like I said, but to know that people are coming to eat your food, it's a good feeling too, right?
Oh man, again, when you cater, wedding showers and baby showers and birthday parties and stuff like that, that's one feeling. But when people are lining up and they're waiting 15, 20, 30 minutes for something that I created, I can't express to you how grateful I am. I'm telling you, it really feels like I'm living in a dream. And I really feel like one day I'm going to wake up and I don't know, man. It's such a weird, humbling thing to see people drive just to come get a burger from us. I don't even know how to put that into words, Larry.
Well, I kind of know the feeling as well, because it's really surprising to me. Before we even had the food truck, all the people that were coming to the north side to the Unión Cívica Mexicana.
I grew up down the street from there.
Which, primarily, it was a Latino civic organization, and that's where many Latino dances and everything was there. But since we've been doing the patitos, we have all walks coming there.
Yep.
And it's just amazing how much they're doing that drive for a patito. So it's nice to know that, when we're now, on the west side, that it makes it a little bit easier sometimes for some of our customers who have been faithful for many years, that they're able to, not have to drive all the way to the Unión Cívica to get a patito. But we're still going to be doing them there in the winter, because that is our commissary kitchen. And, right now in the summer and these warmer days, we're out there on the road. So
how does that, going back to you, how does that make you feel? Because you guys make a good product. How does that make you feel that people have waited?
It's awesome. That's why, I always have a great time when I'm out there, because you're really with the people. And they're loving your food, and they're making compliments, and so it's a good feeling, because that you've kind of evolved this. I'm known as well for my rice, so people ask for my rice for parties and all that, and I'm like, man, my mom would be so proud, because she's the one that taught me how to make rice. And then my aunt Della Chentaca, she taught me to do these patitos, and man, she was the best cook around in Saginaw as far as I was concerned. But we have somebody else in the room here tonight. We're going to bring in Elvis Macco right now, because he's got an event coming up that is going to be happening on August the 26th over at Greater Dimension. And guess what? Wonderburger is participating in this event. Elvis, how are you?
I'm blessed, man. How are you guys?
You're muted. So this is part of the reason why I like to have people in the studio. But Elvis, you're muted. Can you hear us?
Yes, I can.
Nope. Can't hear him.
Can't hear me?
There you go. All right. Can you hear us?
I can hear you.
There you are. Tell us a little bit about your event, Elvis, and how Wonderburger is going to be participating as well.
Well, I won't say it's my event. I'd say it's a community collaboration event between Christmas with Angels and then also Bouncing Bellas. We got Wonderburger that'll be out that makes a fantastic product. I think Hive kind of played down his burger, which are really good. We got TNT, which is Toil Roses, will be out there in attendance. We have Big Pete's that'll be out there, which is kind of cool. And then we got Cobb King, and we're looking to have 15 to 20 bounce houses for the children, some face painting, some games, and just bring the kids out, bring the community out to have fun, to bring laughter, bring joy, and bring us all together and just enjoy the day, but also just give the kids, a smile on their face. And we have 100, the first 100 children have book bags that have been donated, and we're steadily looking for sponsors and volunteers to make this an awesome event. So yes, August 26th from 1 to 6 p.m. at Greater Dimensions. All the Greater D will be out there, kids, children, and volunteers.
Well, that's awesome. Again, a community coming together. That's what it sounds like. And, you got some great food trucks on board as well. And I think that's the good thing that I see is that, the food trucks have really, like Javier said, they're not competitive. They're willing to help each other because, when we go to these different events, and I'm sure that's going to be the case with this event on August 26th, as well as the Saginaw Taco Fest, I think there's going to be some good crowds, and we need to feed the people, right?
We need to feed people,
because if you don't, they're going to be upset if they're waiting in a long line and somebody sells out. And I think that's one of my concerns always when Cinco de Mayo, because we have a lot of people attend that event. And I'm like, man, do we have enough food to feed everybody? Because that's part of why they go to these events, of course, is for, the food trucks. So how did you get Javier involved with your event, Elvis?
I've just, as far as we've had a long lasting relationship with a lot of the food trucks, with a lot of the leaders and community leaders. And we always try and involve those that are doing great things in the community. So I always reach out. I always want to look for people that are doing great things and just collaborate. They got a big following. Christmas with Angels has a big following. Big Pete's has a big following. Toil Roses and TNT have a big following. Cobb King has a big following. Greater D, Greater Dimensions has a great big following, and Bouncing with Bellas has a big following. So when you look at that and you put all of us together to help one thing and benefit the kids in our community, I think it's just a win-win, and it shows how us, can work together and we can collaborate where no one gets credit, the kids get the credit. And, when I reach out, I always want to do my best and then go above and beyond for these guys because I know their time. I don't want to just have them come to an event, us. So we want to do a lot of promotions with all social media platforms, radio, social media as far as Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, new X, or I know it is Twitter, but we just want to make sure.
When did that happen? I didn't even know when that happened.
That threw me for a loop, man.
Yeah.
I didn't know my phone updated.
Yeah, that's crazy. Well, I want to thank Elvis for being with us tonight, and I want to also give him credit for last year's first annual Taco Fest. We collaborated with, at the time he was with Sarah Automotive over there on Bay Road, and that's where we had the first Taco Fest, and it was very successful. And we had a storm come roll through for about 15 minutes, and then it was over and the clouds cleared. But it was a wonderful event. And so as we go into this second annual Saginaw Taco Fest, I know Elvis is supporting this effort as well. And it's just nice to see that we have these collaborations within our community. And, we really need to spread the love, not the hate. That's one of the things I've been posting a lot lately, just because, there's so much negativity out there in the Facebook world or whatever, and we need to really be positive with all that we do. And I just want to mention as well that at the Saginaw Taco Fest, we have the TNT Authentic Mexican Cuisine truck. Cobb King's going to be out there. Mr. Petito Man, myself, Manny's Barbecue. He's going to be making tacos as well.
Manny's awesome.
Shifting from the barbecue that he does, but he'll have it there, but he's also going to be making his tacos. Wonder Burger, Big Pete's Tacos, the Love Shack, Jeremiah Gallardo. And then we also got Gordo and Flaco Tacos from Flint, some young entrepreneurs that are making tacos in the Flint area, as well as Torta Express and Tacos El Rodeo from Detroit Southwest community. So there's going to be a whole lot of tacos. And then we got Grupo Vicio of Detroit, who will be providing entertainment throughout the day, along with the bouncy houses and DJ music by DJ Jesse Sanchez. So there's it's going to be a great event,
I'm
for
excited.
our community and anybody who who's hearing this message. If you can spread the word, tell your family, tell your grandparents, tell your parents, come on out to the second annual Saginaw Taco Fest. And, also on August 26th, Elvis, your event, tell us what it is called again.
All about the kids.
All about the kids. Yeah. And that's going to be at the Greater Dimension parking area and their grounds to support the young people of the community and of that church. So good job, Elvis, and all that you're doing there at Labadee, and we really appreciate your support. And we want to give Javier here, Fulgencio Jr., the last word as we go out of the show. Tell me any last thoughts.
Follow us on Facebook, please, please, please. We just hit 5,000 people, and that was like a long time goal. And then you can follow us there, Instagram, TikTok. And then the last thing is we appreciate all of you guys that are watching, that have been with us since the beginning. And we're excited to see where this thing goes in the very near future. We love you guys, and thanks again.
Well, thank you for being the guest on the show tonight. And I'm going to utilize Javier and his expertise in reaching 5,000 people, because everybody's telling me I've got to start my own Mr. Petito page, and I don't even know how to do that. So, thanks again to our guests, Javier Jr., to Elvis Macco, as we go out of the show. Elvis, any last words?
Yeah, real quick. Does anybody think your carnitas are better than your patitos?
Well, yeah, we have a huge following of carnitas in the Gray Iron plant. The guys there, they just love them, and they've actually outsold the patitos. And I'm like, wait a minute, I'm Mr. Petito Man, not Mr. Carnita Man. But that's awesome, that the carnitas are doing well as well, and that they love the food. So again, everybody, thank you so much for participating. We have had a lot of people in the room. I think this is one of our largest audiences that we've ever had, and it's just neat to see that we're collaborating as a community and doing great things and moving forward. So hasta luego, everybody. Until next week.
Great job,
Larry Rodarte here on Mi Gente On Air. Adios.
Adios. Great job, fellas.
So there you have it. A great show again tonight, and it's nice to be able to feature individuals like Javier Fulgencio Jr. as well as Elvis Macco, who were doing great things in the community, moving it forward. And, we're putting on these events to make sure that we're at the table and that our culture and heritage is in the spotlight. So again, Elvis, any last words as we're on the live stream right now? And I just want to give you the opportunity as well to talk about the business network event that you have coming up as well in the community.
Just really quick, business networking event. It will be held at Gilley's Bistro in Bay City, Michigan on August 16th. That's this coming up Wednesday from 5:30 to 8:30. What is it? Real quick. We all come out and you go to the Chamber of Commerce events and you might meet one or two leaders, exchange a business card. Here we had speed networking, but where the first time I left with 21 different business cards. I'm new to Bay City. I used to drive into Bay City 14 hours and drive right back out. And I've really been engaging these last 60 days. There's a lot of great people out here. Come on out, meet, grow your network. There's a lot of great things that are up and coming in Bay City, Midland, and also Saginaw. So we're just expanded, right? We're never settling. Everybody's welcome. Come on out. And also Gilly and his family over there at Gilley's Bistro has also got a great product. They're doing great things, and kudos on the art that he put up that celebrates our Hispanic heritage on his building that looked really beautiful. And all the support that goes to all you guys that are continuing to move the ball forward. And I tell you, my last word would be, they don't often see Hispanics, successful Hispanics, especially out here in Bay City, that I found in the last 12 months. And you see that look in the room when you step in and you're a confident Hispanic, and you're looking to provide leadership and sit at the table, and not only sit at the table, but have an input on where we move forward. And there's a lot of ground to break, and there's a lot of room for growth, and it's going to be up to us. The future is extremely bright. And as we continue to grow out here, you know, we'll have platforms in Bay City, in Saginaw, and also in Midland. And then also going out into, you know, the tribe out there at the Soaring Eagle. So looking at the Great Lakes Bay region, there's a lot of great things going on, but we have to do better. We have to collaborate, and we have to support each other. And I say kudos to all you guys that are doing and working hard work, man. Clapping. And if I can ever help, just let me know what I can do. But yes, August 16th, business networking at Gilly's Bistro here in Bay City, Michigan.
All right. And then August 19th, that Saturday, is the second annual Taco Fest in the Saginaw Soccer Complex. And I just want to throw the last question out to Javier here on the live stream. What are you looking forward to at the Taco Fest with Wonder Burger?
I actually being able to get back to the roots and do what I love the most. And really, I'm a big community guy. So seeing friends and family and just local people coming out and checking us out. We need you guys there. We need support and collaborating with, you know, all the different food trucks in the area. I think it's going to be, I'm really excited, and I think it's going to be awesome.
Yeah, and Maria's food truck will not be there, but it's because they've got a big commitment in Flint, and otherwise they would. And they were really disheartened that they weren't able to participate with us, but they did last year, and they do a great job out there in the community as well. So I just wanted to mention that, and I want to say good night to everybody, and just thank Javier Fulgencio Jr. again, and Elvis Mackel, as well as Bob Fulgencio, who's in the room, who is observing us here in the studio. So say goodbye, Bob, so everybody can see you. There he is. But that's what it's all about, you know, showing the young people that si se puede, we can do whatever you put your mind to. So thank you so much, everybody. Adios. Until next week. I'm Larry Rodarte here on Mi Gente On Air.
Awesome. Great job, Larry.